Hello everyone. I think you're going to enjoy today's video because it will help you put together a trading plan for 2025. I know that we look at our portfolios, we evaluate where we are with them, and we try to plan on what stocks are we going to sell puts on this year if you're a put seller, or if you already have the shares, which you might want to consider selling covered calls on if a stock gets to running. And I have done a lot of research to put into this video to help you come up with a plan. And this plan will involve what plays we think may run this year because of something they've all done that I'm going to take you through in the video. But before we get going, speaking of trading plans, I really want to help those of you that are struggling. I want you to go take a peek at your portfolio's performance, and I want you to look at year to date. Have you made 2% or more this year? Go ahead and look at the last 12 months. Have you made 20% or more in your portfolio in the last 12 months? If your answer to those questions is no, then you might be interested in a workshop I am doing tomorrow evening. It is based on trying to take those of you that aren't yet profitable and looking at what the problem is and switching from red to green. It is a paid workshop, but it's not very expensive, and it will give all of you that haven't been exposed to my teaching style an opportunity to see how I teach and see if that's something that may be good for you and your portfolio this year. There is limited space though, so if you're interested, you want to go ahead and probably sign up now before we get full. We're almost there. Okay, let's get into the topic of today. Well, I became very interested in wanting to better understand what companies actually contributed to the Trump campaign. And the reason I became so interested in that is I could not ignore Tesla's run after they contributed $277 million to the Donald Trump campaign. Shortly thereafter, it took off like a rocket, gaining 69%. And the reason is a lot of investors assumed that Tesla and Elon Musk would receive favor as a result of such a generous donation. Now that number, 277 million, that does seem like a lot of money to you and I. However, if you consider that Tesla's worth $1.3 trillion, that's a drop in the bucket. It's only like 0.2%, and it definitely paid off for him. So I said, let me go and do a little research and find out what other companies that you and I are familiar with donated to the Trump campaign. Now, this pay-to-play dynamic, what is pay-to-play? The concept of pay-to-play has been present in political discourse for many years. However, it did gain significant prominence in the United States during the 20th century, particularly in the context of campaign finance regulations and political fundraising practices. Now, pay-to-play has been around for quite some time. The first company to contribute to an American presidential campaign was the Central Pacific Railroad back in 1868. This company donated money to support the election of Ulysses S. Grant, who at the time was running for president. This is considered one of the earliest instances of corporate involvement in a U.S. presidential election. So as you can see, this has been around for quite some time. It's not a new concept. But as investors, we want to be smart and we want to follow the money because we will make more money as a result of that. So after we go over all the different potential plays, what are you able to do with that information? Well, you can do several different things with it. For one, I am going to show you a good support area. That's where you may want to get into this stock, and I'm going to show you an area of resistance. That's where if you're swing trading or you're selling calls, you may want to consider selling calls. That's going to help you make extra money this year, and I want these to be on your watch list so that you can profit from this dynamic that exists. Now, if you're not familiar with selling puts, I'll give you a real quick Reader's Digest version. Basically, when you sell a put, you are agreeing to buy 100 shares of a stock at a price that you agree to. But it's hard sometimes to determine what is the right price. What price should I be buying this stock for? Well, ideally, you want to get it at the lowest possible price before it starts heading back up again. Why? Because then if you put the shares at what's considered one of the lower prices, you get all the appreciation of that stock from the point that you would put the shares to the point that eventually when you're selling covered calls that it's called away. So I want to help you identify that area so that you know when to strike. Now, if you already have these shares, then you're going to want to know, when do I want to take profit before this stock pulls back? I'm going to show you that too. And for those of you that aren't into selling puts and calls and you just want a dollar cost average in, where do you set your limit order, your buy price? I'll give you that as well. Okay, so let's go look into the companies, some of the major companies that supported the campaign, and let's see what may be a good potential investment for you in 2025. Here you see Elon Musk at the top, and then we get through a lot of different contributors that were individuals or organizations. But look at this. You've got OpenAI, ExxonMobil, Amazon, Meta, Uber, Boeing, Qualcomm. These are all for $1 million. And you have some other really strong ones. And it looks like $1 million is the donation of choice. And then you get down to some of the smaller ones. We have Core Civic GEO Group. PayPal got good for $250,000, and then HCA Healthcare, Coca-Cola. And so there are a variety of donations, anywhere from Elon's very large donation down to some of these smaller donations. Airbnb gave $100,000, but you have to consider that anyone that contributed would more than likely receive some type of a favor. One of the first ones I'd like to go over with you is Robinhood. Now, I was fortunate enough to get in this a long time ago when I saw that we were in the Bitcoin cycle, and I knew that they were offering Bitcoin, and I imagined that they would grow as a result of that. And I've been rewarded quite a bit for investing early in Hood. But analysts are saying it could go much higher. So let's take a look at where it is in its price life cycle. Now for this, I am looking at the 3-month chart on Yahoo Finance. And right now you can see this is in the upper part of its Bollinger Band, and we are over 70 on the RSI. So when that happens, this is a real good candidate for covered calls. In fact, I may consider selling covered calls on my stock because I had been waiting for it to get in this portion of the band before I started selling covered calls. I didn't want to leave money on the table. So once a stock is in the upper quadrant of the Bollinger Band near the top, it's not a bad idea to start selling covered calls, especially since we're already overbought on the RSI. Anything 70 or above is considered overbought. And so if I was going to shoot for a price, I would look more than likely at about 60 or even 65, because when I personally sell covered calls, I am not looking to break the bank with premium. I would rather hold on to my stock and just get some pocket change as a result of selling a covered call. Now, for those of you that do not have this stock, as long as it's over 50 on the RSI, a good entry for you might be right here towards the middle of the band, around $49 or $50. If we do go down in the bottom quadrant of the band, more than likely your RSI will be under 50 at that point, and you could shoot for around the $40 level for a sold put. Now, HIMS is another one. This one is even stronger than Hood as far as where it is in its price life cycle. Look here on the RSI, we're at 77. We are really overbought. And then we are at the top of the band, and the band is stretching. So it's in price discovery mode right now, and it looks like it just can't be stopped. So if you have this stock, you could consider covered calls, maybe right here at the 45, or really I'd even go to the $50 level because this one is hot right now. Now, if you don't have this stock, I definitely would not buy it yet. I would wait for it to pull back at least to the middle of the band. So you're looking at about 32. Now, if you were going to sell puts, if we are over 50 on that RSI, still look at about that $32 level. Under 50, you want to look right here at the bottom of the band, which is also the 200-day moving average. So we're looking at around the $21 mark. I was not joking when I said that these are going to benefit from this current administration. Look at Uber. It's jumped outside of its band. We're currently sitting at about 74, so this one definitely needs to cool off. The RSI is not quite showing overbought right now, but it's close. And so on this one, if you have Uber, you definitely want to consider going at least the $75 mark for your covered calls, but I would shoot higher, even at around $80. And for those of you that are waiting to get in, a good entry point is going to be right here at around your $67, $68 level. Or if it cools off even more, then you might want an entry right here at around 63. Let's look at Meta, another one that has been on fire. We are overbought on the RSI. We're flirting with 80. And wow, this is an expensive stock. So if this is an expensive stock, for those of you that want to get into it, since it's riding so high, you can look at these various levels if you want to do a put credit spread. So you could consider maybe going under the band to start your put credit spread, looking at about 575 as the opening price, and then the band can be as wide as you want. If you want to be even safer, go further out so you can get some decent premium, but then let this 200-day moving average be your entry for your put credit spread. Now, Amazon is a better candidate if you're wanting to sell puts because it's had a little bit of trouble lately. We were down 4% early last week. And so now you have a situation where the RSI is under 50 and you just are starting to go past the middle part of the band. And so you have a couple of levels of support. If you wanted a more aggressive entry with more premium and you really want this stock, you might consider right here this $225 level. This is the 50-day moving average. If it comes down there and pierces it, then you might want to shoot for the bottom of the band, which is right here around 216, 215. Coin has been consolidating sideways for quite some time. And if you look at the RSI, we are under 50, and we're at a really good spot to shoot for the bottom of the band. The bottom of the band is about 251 right here. It also is the 100-day moving average. So if you go for 250 and go about a month out, you can get some really good premium on this one. Microsoft also is a really good one to start selling puts on because we are almost oversold right here. We're at 38 on the RSI and we are in the bottom part of the band. So if you're looking to get into the stock, you can sell maybe $400 puts. This is a real strong psychological level, the $400 level for this stock. And you can see when you go back, I mean, it really respects that $400 level. We've got some candle touches right here. And so if you want to do a credit spread on this one, a put credit spread, I would maybe start at around the 380 mark is your entry. And then your spread can be as wide as you feel like it should be, but that should be a pretty safe level to get in for Microsoft if you are wanting to purchase the stock, sell puts, or do a put credit spread. Oh, Google. Google's another really good one. We just gapped down. We had quite a bit of a gap down here, and Google's been beat up quite a bit. I actually love when these quality companies are on sale. It's the best time to start selling puts because you know that if you put the shares, it's just a matter of time before you start enjoying seeing price appreciation again. So I definitely work with all of my community members, and we are not afraid to boldly go in on these quality companies that are just having a really rough time. And so right now, let's look at the RSI. We're under 50, so we're at the bottom of the band. So you can get some really good premium right now if you want to either sell at the money puts at 185, or if you want to be a little bit safer, then let's shoot right here for this 100-day moving average, and you could go around 178. If you want to be super safe, go ahead and shoot for below 170, and you might need to go further out if you're going to do that because it might be hard to get premium if you're looking more than a $10 gap. But if you go further out, you can safely sell puts because even if you're put the shares, it's just a matter of time until things get turned around and then you're off running back up this Bollinger Band. I hope you got value out of the video. What I would love to see from all of you, of all the companies I just went through, would you please comment below if you have any of these stocks and what your belief is about this stock for 2025. And don't forget to sign up for my Red to Green workshop. It's going to be in 24 hours, and I cannot wait to help those of you turn your portfolio around so that you can experience some of the results that me and my Discord members have been experiencing.